Hello and welcome to Edunates, another episode where I bring you the latest in finance, cryptocurrency and all things going on in the world that potentially can affect your financial lives so you can make optimal financial decisions for you and your family. As ever, this isn't financial advice, but feel free to take this information and educate yourselves to make those optimal decisions. Today, we're going to be talking about Elon Musk and how he's made a $43 billion offer for Twitter. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, first up, I'm going to take a look at what's been going on the last couple of days. Obviously, we know over the last 2 or 3 months, Elon Musk has been buying up Twitter stock. Up till last week, he had a 9% stake in the company. And he says his idea of obviously taking that stake is to be able to ensure that Twitter's run in a certain way where people have access to freedom of speech. Unfortunately, that has not been the case, so to speak. And if we look closely over the last couple of days, we can see Elon Musk is no longer Twitter's largest shareholder. So while Elon Musk is trying to buy Twitter, he's no longer the company's largest shareholder. Funds held by Vanguard Group recently upped their stake in the social media platform, making the asset managers Twitter's largest shareholder and bumping Mr. Musk out of the top spot. Vanguard disclosed on April 8 that it now owns 82.4 million shares of Twitter, or 10.3% of the company, according to the most recently publicly available findings with the US Securities and Exchange Commission. So it says the asset managers not in turn putting in money increased its stake in the company at some point during the first quarter. Vanguard isn't making a directional bet on Twitter. Instead, the majority of assets are index and other so-called passive funds. Okay, yeah, all right. So, that's what's going on there. Okay, so let's just take a look at what's going on around the world in regards to this. So you've got Elon Musk. You can see all the articles that's going on. A couple of people rejecting the offer that Elon's put in, thinking that it doesn't have the value for what the company can potentially be. Well, the real question we got to ask here is, Elon's getting in the way of some people that don't want freedom of speech. That's the reality. That is, to me, out of anything in this whole process, from what I can see, is whoever's involved in Twitter, it's some concept or some way or other. They don't want people saying what they think. We've seen who's been banned, off Twitter at certain points in time. Even the President of the United States was having it against him. These private companies supposedly work in democracy. These public companies that work in democracy aren't working in the best interests of the country and of its people, the world and its people. They're working in their own interests of themselves and the corporations that they work for. So we need to look at, okay, who owns Twitter, who are its competitors, what interests do they have? So, then I naturally go and start looking at, okay, who are Twitter's competitors? Yes, you could look at the social platforms. Well, they are all owned by the same people, the same companies, Vanguard, BlackRock, so on and so forth. But then I think the more interesting we need to look at is the mainstream media outlet. So we look at CNBC. So CNBC owned by NBC Universal, which is owned by Comcast. You have to go one by one. And then, okay, Comcast owned by the Vanguard Group, Capital Research, BlackRock, SSGA, Funds Management. They're all owned by the same people, the same companies, the same 3 or 4 advisor groups, with Vanguard being the top one. Okay, so we look at the obvious. So the next one is CNN. You go down the rabbit hole on that one. Who's CNN owned by? It's owned by AT&T. This is when it gets really interesting, because at the same time, whilst all we're hearing about on the main media outlets and social media driving because Elon Musk is so famous, we're not hearing so much about how AT&T and Discovery merged with Warner Bros. To make a Warner Bros. Discovery deal. Now, what does this mean? Well, this company now is an absolute media powerhouse. So CNN, owned by AT&T, AT&T merged with Discovery, Discovery merged with Warner Brothers. So you've got the Warner Brothers Discovery deal. Again, as we go back to AT&T, the largest shareholders, the Vanguard Group. AT&T and Warner Bros. Discovery. The market is already rewarding shareholders. The market received both AT&T and Warner Bros. Discovery favourably following the spin-off and merger of Warner Media into Discovery. Both companies look healthy, but AT&T looks to be the most attractive prospect at this time. Moving forward, I plan on divesting my Warner Bros. Media stocks in favouring of acquiring more AT&T. So, if we start looking at all this, essentially this company now is an absolute media powerhouse. We look at this. CNN officially has a new parent company, Warner Bros. Discovery Inc. So whilst we're going on about Twitter and the freedom of speech, CNN, has a new parent company, Warner Bros. Discovery Inc. The most significant media news of the year to date was announced at 6 p.m. on Friday. 11 months after Discovery and Warner Media announced their plans to merge, Discovery Inc. and Warner Bros. Parent company AT&T officially closed a $43 billion transaction to combine the Warner Media business. That's interesting, isn't it? $43 billion transaction. Same. Interesting. That is interesting. I've just seen that there, right there. So the exact amount that Elon Musk has put out for $43 billion is the same cost of the transaction and the merger that perhaps is the one we should be looking at. You saw the moment where I just actually saw that as we were seeing that there. To combine the Warner Media business with Discovery, Warner Bros. Discovery Inc. will begin trading on the NASDAQ with the start of trading on Monday, April 11th under the new ticker symbol WBD. The new company unites Warner Media, which includes CNN, CNN+, HBO, TNT, TBS, CNN, Cartoon Network, Warner Bros. Streaming service HBO Max with Discovery's own portfolio, which includes Discovery, HGTV, TLC, ID, Food Network, own Magnolia Network, and Discovery+. As Adweek's Moline Cahilan writes, this is a new streaming-centric media company that will once again reshape the media landscape. So essentially here, a media powerhouse that's moving into this streaming world that has the CNN narrative. Okay. Today's announcement marks an exciting milestone, not just for Warner Bros. Discovery, but for our shareholders, our distributors, our advertisers, our creative partners, and most importantly, consumers globally, Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav said in a statement. Well, so for me, and I just saw something there whilst I was noting, because I didn't see that it was exactly the same price, the acquisition, $43 billion. We're looking at the wrong thing, because what Elon is trying to say here is he wants to have freedom of speech out there, and he wants to buy the company for $43 billion. At the same time, a $43 billion merger that's just happened, which is going to, from what I can see, looks like freedom of speech, is, at least with this company, could potentially be ended. That's what we're looking at. So, what to do? I think this is another interesting thing going on here. I think we need to pay attention, not just what's in front of us, what we're seeing here, but perhaps what we're seeing over there. So let's hope Elon manages to pull it off. Now, what if he doesn't pull it off? What's going to happen then? Well, he's going to drop all his stock. It's going to shoot the share price of Twitter down, and that's going to cause further issues. But then could he go and do it with other platforms? Who knows? If there's that amount of public stock available to do it, then he could repeat the process. The main point here is we see that Elon is highlighting how important freedom of speech is to form the democracy we have, and there are clearly players out there that are becoming more and more powerful that don't want that to be the case. So let's look at this and keep our eyes open, and let's see what happens. Hope this helps.